Well, this morning I came into the grow room and discovered something as things can go sideways so fast. So, everybody knows that I do my big water, nutrients, and pH on Sundays. That is the big day in the grow room. Well, today's Saturday and I'm one day away, and this is how fast things can go sideways. So, I came down to the new summer squash and I found these leaves. Let me get up real close, you can see them. It's almost like they're like black or almost shiny. And so instantly I was like, okay, let's go. How do we fix this? And I got my EC meter out and it was reading 1.8. Well, these guys, let me just get up a little close here so you can see them. The seedlings have now turned into, a bigger size, plant. They're a little bit bigger than seedlings, I guess is what I'm trying to say. And they require what? A little more nutrients. So when I tested it, it was 1.8. And instantly I go, okay, it's time. They're telling me that they need more food. So I went ahead and I adjusted it and I bumped it up to 2.2, which is in the range for summer squash of the lower end, which is where they were, which they're not happy, to the higher end, which is about 2.4. So I did the middle. I did 2.2. I put a half a cup of nutrients, gave it a good stir, stirred it again to make sure it wasn't going to go any higher. And then I went ahead and adjusted the pH. The pH was slightly off, it was slightly high, but then I decided, you know what, I'm going to just lower it just a little bit. And I put about a quarter cap in, gave that a good stir, and I think it should be good to go. But we're going to watch it over the next week or so and see what happens. I'm sure that they'll start to grow quite fast because they've got more food. And as long as the pH is in good range, they'll be able to absorb those nutrients. Now, the other thing that I discovered, again, things can go sideways so fast, guys. Remember how I talked earlier in the week about the lettuce, which is right here? I had one that was just a little goopy. It was on the back side, but it was at the crown and it was just a little goopy. So I picked out all of the goop. I'm going to actually get rid of these now that they're fixed. And I said, the lettuce is new. So it shouldn't be doing that. So what's the first thing we do? I checked, this EC, which was this morning, it was 1.1, and that's all they need. They don't need a lot of nutrients. They like it on the lower side. So then let me test the pH. And the pH jumped up a little bit. So I adjusted it back down. They like 5.5 to 6. They like it on the lower side, and it will take care of that. But the other thing that I did that is important as you are in a warmer climate. Now, my grow room, we're not in a warm climate right now. It's still cold here. Gets warm with all of these LED lights, and I've got a few spider lights that are going in this room. It gets warm. So, what happens is the water gets warm. Now, I don't have a temperature gauge. I probably should get one. If you are in a lower area region like Florida, Georgia, some of those lower states, you definitely need a thermometer, to test that water. And I'm going to find out the range for you and maybe tap it into the comment area of this video. But I thought to myself, you know what? I bet it's root rot. So when I pulled out the whole head, I decided to use that earlier this week. Um, and sure enough, on the top part, there was a little bit of root rot, which caused, I bet you, the goopiness. Now, I've checked everybody else and they seem to be just fine. But as a precaution, because I don't want any more lettuce going bad, I decided to add, and you can use the old vials that come with the tower with that little testing kit because the first line is 5 mils and the next line is, 10 ml. So I did in the middle because, again, I like to do things very cautiously, don't go crazy. I did about maybe 7 and I put hydrogen peroxide. Let me just get that bottle for you. We all know what it is. But I don't really use this very, very often. I really just, I really try not to because I don't have a lot of issues with root rot. But remember, you've got lights, you've got humidity, and it gets kind of warm in here. And I do vent out this room every single day. And, it seems to be just fine. But occasionally, what happens? Sorry, my shoe came untied. Is you're going to get it. And these guys are susceptible because the leaves are just so fine. They're not like the squash, they're not like the cucumbers, and definitely not like the watermelon. They're just super flimsy and delicate, and they almost want perfect conditions. And I know that sounds kind of silly because it's a phase one plant, but if you guys come up against that and you find that goopiness, just give a little splash. You don't really have to go crazy, but if you do have one of these little containers that came with your tower, if you don't, find something in your house, maybe like a I would say that's probably you know, just because we're on camera and I don't want you just to wing it. I have a tablespoon right here. So let me just see if this equals um what is 5 mils to a tablespoon? Hold on. It's a little under five. Okay. I can actually say without going to, Mr. Google, 5 mils is probably a half a tablespoon. And I don't know if I can see that on the camera, but it's about half filled. So let me go ahead. This would actually be a better measurement. We put in another five and see. That's a little under. Yeah. So 10 mLs equals 1 tablespoon of water. So I just did in the middle. So I did about seven, so maybe 3/4 of a tablespoon of hydrogen peroxide, dump it in the water and forgot about it. And that should actually take care of the root rot. And wait a week and see if that, helped you or solved the problem. But look around, look to see if there's any goopiness. It can be caused by splash too. So if you have a net pot or a piece of the tower that's not connected correctly, that will cause splashing. And remember, if the water is slightly even remotely warm, it's going to escalate this issue. So again, this is a phase one plant. You can go to my website, towergardeningmadeeasy.com, and you can go through the different phases of what's easy, moderate, and difficult to grow. This is super easy, but this is one of the things that they are susceptible to. They don't get powdery mildew, they get root rot, and this will take care of it. Um, and just keep an eye on it. And the other thing that I would do is that um, another suggestion with this type of plant in your tower is eat it. Turn it over quickly and go ahead and harvest it. I say that with all love. And if you can't eat it, pull it out, start it again because the seeds are very inexpensive. Save yourself the trouble of it, tasting bitter. You may make a beautiful salad, and all of a sudden you're like, the lettuce is a little bitter. It's because it's just been in there too long. So my rule of thumb is, for me, I have 10 plants, well, nine now because I used one the other night. And I've got about five growing in the nursery right now. So when I take one out, when those guys are ready, I'll put one in. And if they just start to get really overgrown because of the nutrients and the pH are on point and there's no root rot, and they get kind of squirrely and start growing, I'll rip them out and I'll go feed the horses up on Ocean Drive. They seem to really like it. So that is the tip for today. And I'm going to go ahead and post this. I'm going to loop it into our new system. And I hope you guys really, really enjoy it.